Hi, everyone. It's Reverend Laurie with Unity of Ocala for this week's Friday Love Notes. I hope you're doing wonderfully well on this gorgeous April spring day. This is why we live in the Sunshine State. It is a beautiful, perfect day. It was a little chilly this morning. I headed out really early to go to the gym because I had to take my granddaughter to school. If I don't go to the gym early, I find all kinds of reasons not to go. So I have been hitting the gym as hard as I can. No, I am not getting ready for bikini season. That was 30 years ago when I got ready for bikini season. No, I'm not squeezing this body into a bikini or probably even a bathing suit, but I will definitely go swimming somewhere this summer in something. So I've been thinking about my journey as I develop these new pages of this new chapter. And I'm really taking into consideration what people share with me, people that know me really well. I'm thinking about the promises I made to my husband. I promised him I would not become a recluse, a hermit. And, he was right about that. He was right about a lot of things about me. He knew me better than I knew myself. He pretty much raised me. And I do find it very easy to slip away from society. I've always been like that. I've never fit into any group. I've always had friends in all groups. Been friends with especially those that other people aren't as friendly with. I've always been very close to the LGBTQ community. I've always had dear friends in that community, in other communities that are marginalized. Always stood up for those people, the underdogs. And so I never really was an extrovert. I'm one of those, when I go into a room filled with people, I just find a quiet corner and I watch. I just observe. I learn a lot from watching people. I usually don't initiate a conversation. I've gotten better at it because now I'm a professional speaker, which was my biggest fear ever. Almost threw up the first time I gave a sermon. Oh, yeah, that almost came out. Yeah. And then I would have been known as the puking pastor on the podium. Oh, that would have stuck with me for a lifetime. Had to surrender. That was my first taste of surrender. But I've been pondering my alone time because I remember my husband had a store in Port Charlotte, and he and my daughter, who worked for him and with him, rented a place on the river down there. It was a great place on the river. We did a lot of fishing, a lot of playing, but I loved coming home to my quiet house. The two loudest ones, those two, my son's really quiet, but those two are very loud, were gone for sometimes weeks at a time. And I just wrapped the aloneness, the quietness around me. I loved it when I'm alone, especially for a long time, several days. I can go deep into my thoughts, deep into the thinkings that have me curious, a book that I'm reading, an idea I'm pondering. And so I have a tendency to slip back into that, to just kind of come home and shut everything down, turn on a little music, dance a little by myself, just listen to my thoughts, write some things down. But I keep hearing his voice echoing, make yourself available to life. Make yourself available, baby. Do things that you've always wanted to do, but you haven't been able to do because you've been taking care of me. Do all those crazy, brave things you always wanted to do. And I thought, he's right. My daughter-in-law and I want to go skydiving. I'm going to do that on my 61st birthday and my 70th, 75th, 80th, 85th. I'm probably going to live to 98 or 99, probably. But I'm thinking about making myself more available and what that will look like, and especially striking the balance. Because when I was making myself really available, I was saying yes to everything. I decided just to have a month of yes. And people were asking me out to go do things, to go shopping, to come out of town, to travel, to visit. I was just saying yes. I missed my quiet. I missed the alone. So these 30 days, I'm picking and choosing my yeses and nos, and I'm going to be very selective. I'm going to try some new things. I have a friend who has a motorcycle, a big, loud, scary motorcycle. I've threatened all of my children, you will not be on the back of one of those. I don't care who you think you are. My husband swore he would never get one, so that there was no chance that any of my children would ride one. But I don't know. He was explaining it to me, and he said something about you would love the feel of freedom. And I thought that's going to make a great talk title, The Feel of Freedom. So I might take him up on that, go for a ride on a motorcycle. I don't know. I'm going to be brave. I'm going to be curious. I'm going to be safe, but I'm going to live. I'm going to strike a balance. I'm going to honor my quiet time, and I hope you do too. I'm going to do a series this summer on effective prayer practice, especially the prayer of Jesus, because so much of my contemplation time, my quiet time, I am in prayer. Affirmative prayer. It's not the prayer that many of us were taught as children, where we get on our knees and we ask God for things and we thank God for our blessings. That's a beautiful part of it, but that always felt like a Santa Claus prayer to me. You know, I'll be really, really good, God, if you just take care of this, or whatever. I try to be really good so that I'm blessed with your blessings. And I know that a God that has the power and the strength to create the entire universe and all the forces in it, the ability to burst apart planets and create new life, doesn't care about what you're praying, honey. It doesn't work that way. The God of my understanding is that force of life in me. And when I contemplate deeply that which I want to see evolve into being with every cell and fiber of my being, we know in physics, we are attracting that to us. It's like my focus, my prayer is I focus on the thoughts of God. I focus on that energy. It's like a magnifying glass in the sun. Remember when you can burn leaves and dried grass with that power of that microphone or that magnifying glass? That's the same as putting your thoughts about God. Jesus called it Slotha. That's the Aramaic term that Jesus taught his disciples about prayer. Slotha is a trap. Particularly in ancient times, it was a trap that was set by hunters that would trap small animals for food. It's called a slotha. And Jesus talked about trapping the ideas and the mindset and the beautiful life-giving thoughts of God. So we're going to do a series and talk about that as I continue to spend a little more time in the quiet, deeply thinking about the beautiful words, the Aramaic words of Jesus, not the English translations, and really ponder his journey and what his teachings were really about, how powerful they were and how true they are when we understand them in his language. Oh my gosh, a red cardinal just landed on my lawn. And his sweetie, oh my goodness, they must have a nest in here. They look like last year's teenagers, though. Oh, they're so beautiful. Well, that's a sign of life, isn't it? Red cardinal, red life. Got some people out on the lake today kayaking on this beautiful day. And we're starting classes again this Wednesday, and people have been asking about comparative religion. So we're going to be bringing in a Buddhist teacher to talk about Buddhism. One of my dear friends, a Taoist priestess, she's going to come in and talk about Taoism. I've got another friend who's Muslim. She's going to come in and talk about the Islam faith from a woman's perspective. We're also going to talk about the branches of Christianity. In particular, I've been asked about Seventh-day Adventists and some other branches that have branched off a more traditional stream of Protestantism. So we're going to do some deep thinking, some history, some digging, and some great, delicious conversations with this group. But I want to share for you from my Brave Enough book. I hate to let her go come May, but it's time to get another author. I love this, what she says. She says this about alone. And you know, I've never been a lonely person. I love being alone. I think there's a difference between being alone and lonely. I've never been lonely. And I've been alone a lot, especially recently. And this is what she says about alone. This is my new favorite definition. Alone had always felt like an actual place to me, as if it weren't a state of being. Think about that. A place to me, as if it weren't a state of being. That's a choice. But rather a room where I could retreat to be who I truly am. That's alone for me. A place where I can retreat to be and become who I truly am. And then she writes, if love were an animal, it would be two, a hummingbird and a snake. Both are perfectly untrainable. Let your love be untrainable. Be bold, be brave. Take time in the quiet, in the aloneness for just you. I love you guys. I will not be here on Sunday. Janice will be speaking. I may be riding a motorcycle. I don't know, but I'll see you next Wednesday. Love you guys. Take care. Mwah.